All right, let's talk Zillow. I would say the story of 2020 is now the story of 2021. So some of you might remember that
It's
last
also our
year.
first show.
Yeah, that makes sense. Some of you may recall on it sounds like a little episode recall. On last week's episode, Zillow has been basically going around the country becoming a real estate brokerage. And as they did, we were talking about what this means for real estate agents and what they're going to do. And there was a lot of speculation. Hey, they're entering the market. They've actually hired agents in some towns, et cetera. And then we saw from their press release that yes, they actually do have some agents in some towns, but it's mainly to manage their iBuying program, which we covered 2 years ago. Is not an actual competitor for most real estate agents, but a
Right.
competition for most investors who are looking for really quick fixes and flips.
Yes.
So basically everything that's come out so far, we've said, yes, they've done this, but it's not really competing with real estate agents. Yes, they've done this too, and not really competing with real estate agents. So yes, now they are a broker in my town too, in your town too, most likely. And they have their own IDX feed, and they're still maybe not competing with real estate agents. But one thing they did really hacked a lot of agents off. And let me bring up this article.
And it's been interesting to see it happen, like, because we both have friends all over the country, to see it happening in, guess what Zillow did? And then a week later, guess what Zillow did? And then a week, because it's not happening all in one thing, but but Ray's about to get into it.
Yeah, and this is why we entitled it Zillow's Revenge, because a lot of people were freaking out about this. Zillow's shift to IDX is live, and here's what agents need to know. So this article is from Inman, which is a pretty good source for this article. They go into depth about what happened and why it happened. And so I'll let you guys kind of take a peek at that. But chances are that all of your sales data, some of your reviews, and even some agent profiles are gone from Zillow. Is this Zillow's revenge or a big hairy glitch? Neither, really. So Zillow recently switched to an IDX platform, and when it did, much of past sales history for agents vanished. And also, if there were reviews that were tied to specific sales history, some of that also vanished. And some agents that were not premier agents got their profiles deleted if they did not use the same email that is in their IDX feeds. Man, I'm rusty camera switching over here. So let's if you got to talk about it, you're pretty rusty.
Yeah.
All right. So Zillow, previously listings on Zillow came through thousands of separate feeds, which have now been pared down to about 600 different IDX feeds. When they switch to the platform, they will no longer list pre-foreclosures, which I'm celebrating because that was one of the number one calls. Hey, I want to go check out this house, and it's like it's not for sale and may not ever be for sale.
It last sold in 2011, and they're still paying their mortgage. Okay.
And if you're just joining us or a consumer, all a pre-foreclosure means is that somebody is late and they got a letter saying they're late and they may be defaulted on. That was it. And so a lot of people cleared that up right away. Anyway, agents will still have placement on listings, but will be advertised as, quote, personal guides.
Which that part kind of irks me. The personal guide?
Why is that?
It's my listing. I'm not a personal guide.
Yes, but I guess they're talking about the buyer agents, not necessarily the listing agent. All right. I wonder if it's going to list the listing agent as the listing agent themselves.
Well, that was my next question, is what happens to that? Because they had kind of and I don't know, I've never paid for Zillow, but like if you paid for it, you were on your own listing, you were the main contact, but they still had options after you, right?
Yeah, so you could click contact agent and it would go to one of those that was checked. This is kind of the weird part. Is Zillow would automatically check one of those, and you could change it as the consumer. You could go, I don't want to.
But most people didn't.
Yeah, most people didn't, or most people didn't know they could change that. So I'm not sure exactly. We'll take a live look at it in just a second, but I'm not sure exactly what the new feed, if it's kind of permanent, how they have upgraded some, and we'll take a look at that. I don't know if that's for sure or if they're waiting until they kind of clear all this stuff up. So agents will have placement on all listings, but will be advertised as personal guides. They're hoping to have past data restored by January 26th.
Dude,
There
I
have
think
also been
that
some aesthetic changes to the site recently too.
I think that part is like, oh no. It's gonna come back. It was a mistake. Like, because it says earlier in the article, or as Ray stated, a glitch, a quote unquote glitch. It's not a glitch. They took it down, or it's leaving.
So do you? So you think that was on purpose to get rid of all the agents' past sales and stuff?
Well, okay, I don't know. Let's think about this logically. Like, if I have, specifically in this zip code that I'm sitting in right now, I have more past sales than any Zillow agent, would they want my sales there competing with them?
Oh, okay.
And
I see what you're saying. So you're assuming, putting it in context, if they had their own agents and they were going to compete with you, wouldn't
right,
they want to build up their own agents and say, well, our agent sold more than this church?
right. And then this is just a question that literally just popped in my head. Do they have to show my listings, or can they control that? Like the MLS, you have to show all listings. We're ethically bound to that, right?
Yeah, now they
The
are part of that, and they do have to abide by the same rules as your local board.
on their personal, technically their website, though.
Yeah.
So they have to show my listings that I sold them, not one of their whoever pays for that zip code. And our agent's still going to pay for zip codes, but I want to go back to that one.
Oh, so all you have to do, so on our third party site as well, all you have to do is just say, yeah, Ryan Boker's checking in. Thanks. He's one of the ones that posted this article and the one from CNBC as well.
Yeah.
But on our website, all you have to do is list that it was listed by a particular brokerage or an agent. It's just got to be like a little name. It doesn't have to be a photo or
Yeah.
David says, "Oopsies." He's talking about all the deleted,
Exactly.
That's the rolling outrage that took place, says Lisa. So Ryan says IDX rules require them to disclose the listing brokerage. Yeah. Mike Elizabeth Rodell says Zillow did it intentionally.
Right. That's what
Doug
I'm thinking, because but then we're gonna get back to it. I don't know. It seems sketchy to me.
Doug's checking in. Hey, Doug. He says our brokers sold us out years ago, giving out proprietary information under the guise of the public demands it. Well, wake up, folks. They are after your job and your business. Does your brokerage advertise other brokerages' sale numbers? No.
But they're not a public. That's the thing.
Or feature other brokerage homes.
But like when someone goes to my website to see listings, buyers, they see all listings, not just my brokerages.
David says the only thing that agents do for Zillow is pay for leads and drive traffic to their site. Zillow doesn't directly compete with agents. Okay, so he's on the other side. Ramsey Stewart said, my Zillow has never been correct. Well, so that's a sticking point. Mine also has, and always had to send the data every time we did it. I normally do a January upload, which I just did, of my previous year.
But hey,
you guys are missing like 70 transactions here.
At least Zillow, they're losing stuff, but like our MLS loses stuff all the time. One of my listings from late last year is gone. I was looking at my numbers and they're just not there.
Maybe me.
Yeah, it'll be there. It'll come back. But it's not there right now.
Oh man, what? Hang on, all right. Go ahead. Say that again.
Our MLS, quote unquote, loses stuff all the time. Listings will just disappear. They just won't be there, and then they're there. The data is saved somewhere, but they just won't show. I lost one of mine from late last year. I was looking at my numbers, and I was like, "Wait a second, where's that one?" It's just not there. You can't find it.
Yeah, Lisa says. Agents, y'all need to have control of all your customers' success stories. Get it off Zillow and somewhere where you can always control that data. If you don't have a follow-up email sequence for collecting reviews, get one in place. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you should have your own views and own system to get it. I'm also reviewed on Zillow, which is fine, but we have those stored elsewhere.
And it's also just a really widely trafficked website. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Clayton says it's part of their business plan to keep pushing change until they have too much pushback. Oh, I see what you're saying. Isn't it part of their business plan to keep pushing change until they have too much pushback? Will Khalil says, why does Zillow have so much control over us?
Because
display that comment. There you go.
Should we do this at the same time? That's the tea, sis. By the way, up top there was a David had a comment. He said Zillow's not coming after Redfin, not agents.
Oh, that where?
Did
Where?
you
Oh,
see
there
that
it is.
one up
Okay,
there?
it should be clear that Zillow is going after Redfin, not other agents.
That's I mean, and I think he is still with Redfin. So that's if that's Redfin's take, then that's kind of interesting. I wonder what those quarterly meetings are like at Redfin. Zillow's coming after us.
Ramsey Stewart says, I've been horrible about updating my info. It's all been so confusing. We're also not seeing much Zillow activity in our market. We're seeing a lot here. David says the broker owns your client data, not agents. That's true too. And now they are a broker. Lisa Perk says, not that it's any of my business.
No, the thesis.
Yeah, the thesis. All right, so let's take a look at their website. You want to do
Nice.
this live?
Oh, wait, sorry.
Yeah, that looks great.
That looks awesome. Oh, sorry.
Let's look up. We have to edit. Hang on just a second. Let me look up. I'm going to look. Let me look. Hang on. All right, let's look up Park City.
Can you look up one of mine? Just,
All right.
I mean, while we're doing this.
Be sure to see everything. Okay, we'll see everything. All right, so this is Park City, which I was just at last week. So you got to check out my Instagram if you want to see some cool outfits. All right, here's a little house for $895,000. So let's click there and see what agent data we see. So it gives me an option to contact agent or take a tour.
Ooh,
whenever you take a tour, I believe that will give you the option for a 360 tour or one that is from an agent, that kind of thing.
Wait, so would a consumer see the overview, time on Zillow, views, saves?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so it's not just because you're logged in as you.
No, no,
Okay.
I think this is it. So you see the bottom, it says the source, the PCBR, the MLS number, also listed at utahrealestate.com. Zillow last checked the data. Data was published.
Are you logged into Zillow right now or no? Is this just on Zillow?
This is just on Zillow.
So you're not logged in as Ray Allen?
No, I'm looking at this as a consumer.
Okay, cool.
One of the things I noticed is that there's no photos anymore.
Of the agent, you mean?
Yeah, there used to be like several agents.
I mean, that benefits me. I'm fine with that.
Oh, look, here it is, your personal guides.
Aha.
So there's the agent photos. Get to know the neighborhood, find an amazing local agent, right? Make sure your offer is ready.
Can you scroll back up? Who is the actual? It said listed by or presented by. Who was? Go back up.
First, I can't click on either one of these people, which I think that's interesting. There they are. Click this button, and now I see them.
But I want to know who the actual listing agent is.
Okay.
Can you go back?
Yeah, I'm there now. Loading. All right, so
there's Scott.
Where are you?
Oh, they're right there, listed by.
All right, so there's the listed by information. It's right below. So you basically, it's pushing you to this take a tour with a buyer's agent before it's no longer advertising the face, right? So now it's changed these personal guides down here. It's also added a lender. Now, one of the curious aspects to this is one of the reasons I advertise on Zillow is so that my friends see my head, my little avatar, whenever they're looking on Zillow. It's a great little source. I only advertise in one little zip code, which is where I live, and because of that, that was positive advertising for me. So now the fact that they're taking off the faces, and this is super tiny. Like I'm on a huge screen, and that's super tiny.
It's very. I don't wonder if they're doing that because it's easier to adopt to the phone, to the scrolling, because it looks like you're scrolling on a phone essentially.
It does. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Like with me, what I've noticed because as I push more and more into I'm trying to be a bigger, more a busier agent, a more higher producing agent. I get more and more me as I do. I kind of the hair's growing, the beard's growing and everything. So my image is very important to me. I need people to see me up front so they know what they're getting into. Because if, I know what I'm talking about. I know how to be a real estate agent. I know how to sell a house, buy a house, all that stuff. So if you talk to me, that's one thing. But sometimes I can be a little shocking when you meet me in person. So I kind of need that there. I make the jokes about I don't want people to see my face and stuff, but I have a big
I do want people to see my face. I mean, one of the reasons why I have a beard is because it's a differentiator.
Yeah, exactly. And I also have like a thumbs up. If you've never seen my profile, if you look at my profile pic on Facebook, it's a thumbs up, and it's a different vibe. So I really want that out there. So now that this is gone, that's kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think if enough premier agents said, "Hey, man, you got to make our faces bigger," they probably would. Ryan says, "I don't get too worked up over Z here in Houston. Our board has the best, most visited site in the market. Well, currently, but now that they're entering as a player, they may start to take over and take a little more share." So,
but how long are we going to say this? How long is it going to take for us to say, "NAR, do what HAR has done"? It's already in place. They have the model there. Can't they?
We already have all these IDX feeds, and now Zillow just did what we've been telling them to do for years.
Right. So
combine all the IDX feeds that you have. You don't need anything else. David brings up a fantastic point. He said, "Share the show, peeps. Let's break 50." Is it really that many shares already? Are we close to 50 shares? That's pretty cool. Mike Elizabeth Rodell said, "And for sell by owners now have to pay listing fee." Oh, they do? Yeah. I thought that was only if they were listing rentals. They have to do one for sell by owners?
I think I read that somewhere. And then rentals as well, which rentals isn't a new thing. I think we covered in August or something, but it's
fee for rentals is newer.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I looked up articles and it was a little older, but I think it's getting to all the markets now because I've seen posts about it. Like, what? Now they're charging.
Yeah. Clayton brings up the point that we were just making. If NAR had built a good website for a consumer, we wouldn't even know about Zillow.
And by the way, I still think it's possible. Even Zillow has pushed this far. I think we could push right back because honestly, for the longest time, we've kind of said it's so it's going to be difficult. They're so archaic, but it's really not. Now that we think about it, HAR has it built out. Let's just copy their model, pay Clayton and Ryan what they're worth.
Ryan says, but in mass realtors would never pay enough extra dues to support the cost it would require to run a site like that.
Yeah, it would.
Maybe. I mean, we already pay a ton. I mean, we collectively pay more to our NAR than Zillow.
Yeah, and how much? Yeah, by the way, think about that. Okay, let's go crazy with this, right? Like, forget dues, like because we pay about $1,000 a year is my dues. I just paid them $1,088 or something for the whole year, and that's local board, MLS, NAR, all that stuff, right? Now let's think about this. What if all those agents that pay $1,500, $2,500 a month, $5,000 a month on Zillow? What if they took that and put it back? Say you get all the same stuff, but you're featured on NAR's website, consumer-facing website. We would have plenty of, and more consumers would visit it instead of, I don't know, does NAR even have a website? And
Realtor.org, right? It's not .com. Clinton says pressure should be on NAR to improve and step up.
I'm just saying, like that would, the money's there. The money's there. So I get it. Someone said, or I don't know who said it about the dues, but I would gladly pay more dues, by the way, because I'm willing to bet that part of the dues we pay are misdirected somewhere, maybe towards a $250,000 logo, but we take that and put it towards a brand new website. I
there's
think
so much politics and fluff right now that there's so much waste. We need to get rid of the waste and actually do something to support the agents.
100%. I think
faces, Melissa brings up a great point. They should just smack masks on all of us because they aren't seeing our faces right now anyway. Dan Legwood preach different stands out. Let's see. Ryan says we can't all be Houston.
Ooh, $350.
Fizbo to post is $350. Jonathan Brandish says Zillow should charge less. Pictures are smaller, requires 2 clicks to reach us now. It's basically a true round robin. So it's not round. Well, I guess it is round robin according to who's paying. But when you go to the Zillow website, let me bring that back up. When you go to the Zillow website, that form, the main contact form right here, this goes to those agents that are listed down here, but not all at the same time. So it's according to who's paying most. Now, I previously did that anyway. It was just a checkbox that was checked for you. And then you had to say whether or not you wanted to change that out or not. So previously, that's kind of where it stands. Let me come back to us here. But thanks for, is that your first comment, Jonathan? I think maybe you commented one time before, but
I remember the last name for some reason. But hey,
yeah,
thank you so much for that. And also, go watch us on YouTube live and comment. It's good.
Bradish.
I would say
Bradish.
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 Well,
Bradish
Radish.
is kind of cool because you're like kind of Brad. Are you Brad? I'm Bradish.
I'm Brad-esque.
All right. Melissa Morris says rentals.
Jonathan is kind of Bradish, you know?
Yeah, that's right. HER makes it work for a website with their dues. Okay. All right. So that's kind of the update on Zillow. Really, not much has changed. The source of their data has changed. The way they're displaying agents on their page has changed. Other than that, it's still kind of the same.
Well,
now, there was some discussion a couple of weeks ago whether or not they are allowed to sell ads to real estate agents using the IDX data feed. So that's an interesting question right now, because now they are using the IDX feed as their primary feed, because we were like, well, what if they just receive the IDX feed but still use all these other sources and they're selling ads against those other sources? They wouldn't be obligated. But if they're just only getting this IDX feed now, and that's what they're using, then there are some MLS rules that say you can't sell ads against that stuff. So I don't know how they're going to manage that part of it.
Well, also, do they have to abide by, or are they going to abide by the coming soon? Because literally anything, if you haven't put in the MLS, or if you're not going to, like if I post a picture with my new listing, that, you know, that I signed the contract, I have the contract signed, but I haven't put it in the MLS because I don't even have pics yet. That technically that now I'm publicly advertising that house, right?
Right.
So I need to get that in the MLS. I think it's 1 day. So are they going to abide by that too? Or
they would have to. I mean, they're brokers.
Yeah.
And also that means that other brokers can't disparage them because of your fun ethics and stuff.
I
Remember,
love
you
it.
can't feel bad about another agent. Yeah. So y'all did that to yourselves. I'm just saying, that's the stupidest rule ever. If somebody's a shark or a snake in the grass, you should be able to tell people about it, but whatever.
Oh, we still will.
That's called protectionism, by the way. So Vincent Klingnick says, what would you call this site? The Realtor.com name has sailed, and I'm sure we'll hear from Rupert Murdoch if we have something that competes with R.com.
Well, we had this conversation. We do have a Be More Contributors group and then a little messenger group. So if you're not part of that, it's Be More Contributors with an exclamation point. We had this conversation, and the Realtor.com is licensed to.
Right.
So I don't know how long it's hard to find. Clayton has looked for it. It's hard to find how long this license is for or what the terms of it are, but eventually that's going to come back. And if it's in a year or two from now, why don't we start planning with a new model and launch it all at once? I mean, no brainer here on the Bearded Men Real Estate Show, but
we also own dumbledoors.com for the Wizards of Real Estate. So that's an option. Just
hey, we will take on that burden. If NAR wants to contact us, we will talk about taking on that burden.
Jonathan said it's round robin based on payment. I get that. Just value of seeing my reviews and / picture. Yes, you do have a good picture. That's a good picture. Good face. You got a good face for real estate. Oh, he said it's Radish with a B. Bradish.
There you go. So he is Bradish.
Realtor in Alaska. AK. Yeah. I always get mail that's marked AK because
everyone thinks Arkansas is
it's not. We're also not AZ. Somebody did that the other day.
The last thing, because I know we're going to move on to the next story, but the last thing is, what's up with the data? Is it coming back or is it not? Did they do this on purpose or did they not?
I don't think they did this on purpose. I think it was just part of what happens whenever you cleanse your data feed and renew to a new feed. You have to update all of that info, and they still have it. They say, hey, if your info's gone, you should send an email to passsales@Zillow or whatever it is. I can't remember the email address with a list. And I had to do that every year anyway. So
yeah,
I don't, I'm not seeing any difference because it's still just as wrong as it was.
It's not any different.
Every year I had to send an email to them to update it, and then I would forget, and half the year would go by and it'd show 12 sales when I had like 80. Like, come on now.
And then you'd send another email and go, damn, I forgot again.
Yeah, that's right.